the Venom, and I think the Venom did a very good job for Clear Lake last game, so that could be a big blow right there, especially in the Escort map. I talked about the mobility being very very good for an Escort map. Magneto banned on the other side too, so you talked about that one solo tank that in a composition, if you need to go solo tank, he could be there. Not going to be able to access that. Civil Sims can't go with Venom, so instead goes with Thor right here, and we're seeing another Groot integration. We're seeing Blade come to the area. I really do like Blade's ult, but maybe we're switching it up and going right back to Punisher, so never mind.
I only really used Blades for the I only really used Blade for the zombie mode back during the Halloween event. That game mode was so much fun. I hope they bring zombies back. But also another interesting ban, not even interesting, but a very big ban, is that they banned the big bad Mag Daddy Magneto. They banned Magneto again in a convoy game mode. Magneto, again, a long-standing meta pick as long as the game has been around. So again, really huge ban to get rid of Mag, but look at the answer that they're coming up with. They're going with the Doctor Strange. Makes sense. Does have the biggest shield in Marvel Rivals. A lot of damage absorption there. But what I love to see is the Thor and Groot combo. Big fan of Thor. Can't wait to see what they're able to make use of them coming from Clear Lake as we are underway here in map number 2.
Going here for map number 2, and already you're seeing the Punisher go ahead and put that damage on, doing a great job of eating away at some of those health resources that we're seeing right here. Good strong push, evenly matched for both of these teams, really exchanging blows. Really do like that Doctor Strange pick, as you talked about, allows the red team, allows VMHS to make this strong push right here, but they might push a little bit too much here. Danger zone for that Doctor Strange. They're already packed out.
Yep, so far so good. Moving the convoy slowly but surely, but now a big pick. 2 big picks on the tank as well as the DPS. Being able to do a lot of damage early here to the Eagles, and this is going to be the hardest turn, in my opinion. Getting around this turn is honestly going to be probably the biggest obstacle here for the Eagles as they are trying their best to get an early pick. All they really need is one. If they are able to just separate one player there from the Falcons and get an early pick, then they can start to cause the dominoes to fall. But again, you have to come through with a little bit more damage in order to pull that off.
And I love the fact that they went double shield here, because even though VMS got 2 early picks, one on Doctor Strange, one on Elsa Bloodstone, they're still able to recover. Emma Frost holding it down, and the rest of the team doing a great job holding down the fort and making sure that everything is good. Loki doing their damage and doing great, but we do have ults loading onto the floor, so let's see what happens here.
Yeah, big pick there on the Emma Frost. That is one of their tanks down on the side of the Eagles as they are having to be forced all the way back to spawn now. Ooh. One at a time as the dominoes fall for the Eagles and the Falcons with a big push. And now, when you get confined like that in that first corner, it's why it's such an obstacle. You can see right now both sides, they're bringing out a little bit more range. Even the Thor, the tank, has plenty of range with Thor Force. So what they need to do, I think they need to start bringing in some more melee. They need to bring in that close quarter combat, because anytime you come around that loop, you come around that corner, it's going to be a lot more close quarter and a lot more places to hide.
A lot more places to hide. Speaking of hiding, right now Thor doing some massive damage, going ahead and making sure to knock Punisher out of dodge, make them think about it, especially with their ult popping out. But Thor going to be the last line of defense. They have to go ahead and go back, as we're seeing a strong push right here from BMHS, finally able to push past that barrier point you're talking about and get close to that checkpoint.
Yeah, and great ultimate combo, too, coming from the Eagles there. They were able to utilize, again, the re-entry from the Cloak and Dagger ult and also pair that with the Punisher ult as well, being able to clear away in order to secure the convoy. Now, just meters, tiny inches away from being able to get to the second checkpoint here, but already the rebuttal and the retake coming from Clear Lake as they look to put a stop to the convoy here and now.
Dr. Strange doing some massive damage right here. You also do have Phoenix going ahead and doing some damage as well. Great job, as you talked about, that rebuttal to make sure to push them all the way back to that same checkpoint that they had difficulties getting past. Good job by Blue Team, but being a little bit stronger, being a little bit further pushed back. They do have to worry about that. Doctor Strange coming through. Ayagamato comes through. Phoenix doing a great job focusing on Doctor Strange. That's a great KO, neutralizing not only that teleport, but then also the ult as well.
Yeah, that was a huge play coming from the Phoenix to single in on the tank, that Dr. Strange, and get them eliminated. And now you can see the ults are being called in, and Clear Lake dropping players one at a time. This should be the retake that they need from the side of the Eagles in order to push to the second checkpoint, and they will lock it in. They have the forward spawn.
It looked like it could have been Clear Lake's opportunity to wipe them away, especially neutralizing that ult, but a great job overall by the rest of the team, still keeping the fort down and making sure to clear out Clear Lake, even though it looked like they could have had an advantage. It's just a great response right there. You might be down, but that doesn't mean you're out.
And then one thing I also got to point out is that Clear Lake did a really good job because they did utilize the entire clock. They made sure that the Eagles didn't get anything for free. They had to use every single second in order to get that forward spawn. And now the turret being played here by the Punisher on the back line, as it will be taken down as they are trying to get rid of this pesky Punisher all the way in the back. We did hear an Eye of Agamotto be called in as Punisher, able to secure another elimination. That is a big pick for the Eagles as they can continue to push the convoy forward.
Yeah, made him get off his turret very, very early, but a good job of making sure to keep that mobility alive and doing a great job with the shoddy ulterior weapon to make sure that you can stay survive. Jury Executioner from the other side from Clear Lake, though, trying to make some momentum and make some damage. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't look like Clear Lake is able to make the strong push that they need. VMHS still holding on. Phoenix ult pops off. Maybe it goes the other way for Clear Lake. They're doing a great job making sure to stay this neutral, right? Blow after blow by either of these teams.
Yeah, that was a huge play coming from the Phoenix. Way to target the back line, and that's why these ranged characters can be so dangerous, because they're not just, aiming down sights and holding the trigger. They are targeting specific backline characters to get rid of the support and to begin to chip away at the more heavier characters. Dr. Strange now all but alone here on the floor, here on the front line, trying to hold the convoy as time continues to tick away. Just a little over 30 seconds remaining for the Eagles to try and get the second forward spawn.
Yeah, this Emma Frost is doing some major damage. Jury Executioner happening for Fantasy, though, as he tries to get into position. Right now, good back away right here from Clear Lake. Let them get a little bit of momentum. Wait until you can get your troops back, but also, too, make sure you waste that ult for Fantasy, just because they've been doing some extra damage and really being an MVP even without that ult. You want to make sure they don't take advantage of it and clear out the rest of the team, and you have to wait that much longer in order to retake it.
Yeah, this could be a huge retake here coming from Clear Lake as they are making their way in, trying to clear the point. Big elimination on the Phoenix. They do get a trade out with the Punisher as the eliminations continue to come in. You have to look at the ult economy. Dr. Strange on the side of Clear Lake calls in the Eye of Agamotto, trying to clear sight for one last attempt as they look to try and stop the convoy here and now, but keep in mind that Dr. Strange's teleport can come in from the side of the Eagles as well, as this very well could be the final push for the second checkpoint. Yeah,
you're already having Emma Frost down. Unfortunately, Thor's still holding on, trying to clear out that back line right here. Really focusing in on that Punisher has really been a monkey wrench when it comes to Clear Lake being able to clear away this point. And right now, Thor is doing some excellent damage right here. Great dive on them to make sure that they're clearing them away from the checkpoint. Only 1 point gotten by VMHS. Amazing job by Thor to make sure they cleared them away.
And that's why Thor is so dangerous, because not only can they apply damage from a distance, but they can close in the gap very quickly. And not only that, you could see that they were focusing on the back line. And of course, you have the duo comp coming in, of course, from Punisher, who is going to be sitting back to apply the range damage. But you also have them paired off with a Cloak and Dagger, a Silver Fox, whatever the case may be. They're going to retreat. But the point was not to get an elimination on the back line, but to separate the back line from everyone else on the convoy. They were able to use the Thor to divide and conquer just long enough to run out the clock and end the game. Now it's still not over. It is now time for the Eagles to play defense, and the Falcons are going to switch to offense.
There's a reason why it's an old school art of war tactic, divide and conquer. When it comes to the convoy, when it comes to that game mode, you don't necessarily have to go ahead and chase the deaths to taste the kills. You have to just make sure that they're off point, especially as that time is ticking away. Thor realized, hey, Emma Frost is down. I have to make a push or else they're going to go into overtime. We can't have that happen. We need to make sure we can eliminate them. Now and here, they took advantage of the Kobe holes right there at that through point and made sure to go around it, make them scatter, and you know, especially to that back line, extra squishy compared to that tank. Unfortunately, they had to back up in order to stay into the game, but they forgot the game. Staying on that checkpoint, they ended up taking the L. Great job by Clear Lake. Now let's see if they can clear the one point push that they have right here. 92.46 meters to go in order to win this.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if you noticed, but Clear Lake decided to bring out the Spider-Man. But with that being said, I love this pick. Yes, finally we get to see some Panini Parker. I call them Panini Parker. It's Penny Parker. I call them Panini Parker. I love Panini Parker. Yes, more of that. Great defensive tank, however, isn't going to be able to withstand the offense now coming in from Clear Lake as they are starting things off early. And not only that, but they are using more ranged characters, so the Panini Parker not necessarily going to be utilized here. Panini Parker is anti-dive, but we haven't really seen any dive coming through from Clear Lake at all so far here on Asgard.
You have to wonder if this is just to make sure that you can buff the rest of the team so you can make sure that you use that cyber web to help the rest of the team go ahead and be buffed, increase movement speed. You need that movement speed, especially when you're playing defense on this point. Clear Lake did a good job of clearing out VMHS, going ahead and very easily going ahead and pushing this point. Did a great job of securing it much faster than their counterparts.
You know what? I'm going to get some smoke for it, but I'm going to criticize. What did I say yesterday and today about Panini Parker? What did I say? Not a solo tank, not on offense, not on defense, never. Panini Parker is not a solo tank. I'm sorry. I love Panini Parker, but that ain't it. You need another tank. You need some more beef. You need some more shields. They're not going to be able to get it done alone. And now, who is able to get it done? Clear Lake. Astronomically, they're able to push the point. They're able to take the convoy. And just like that, they get the forward spawn, and they have plenty of time to get the second.
We're getting to switch to group, what you talked about. That is a more viable solo tank and way more flexibility when it comes to protecting the rest of your crew right here, whereas it's obviously you're going to need it, right? Emma Frost does have that ability to protect, but not as well, especially if you're using Penny Parker right there. The movement and the extra boost that they have for the rest of the team, not enough to get it done. Great job right now from Clear Lake, holding down the forward Punisher, as said, doing the damage that we're used to seeing. Shield going ahead and get it eaten away. Good job. Again, the hit scan to make sure that he's slicing away at the tank. There's a focus right there as a team, as we're seeing right here. Coach will go ahead and get the things. Phoenix going ahead and getting their ultimate amazing ult right there.
Why are we falling for the bait here? We're alt dumping at this point. Don't get me wrong. This really isn't going to bode out well for either side. It's really just a waste of ultimates. When you get alt dumped like that, you might as well just give it to one team or the other, because you get the same result where someone gets team wiped, but now you have no ults remaining. If you see the alt dump coming in, I would recommend not going tit for tat and just trying to call it all out. Just let them alt dump, because then you can just return the favor and save a plethora amount of time. You're going to save so much more time. But now, because we went tit for tat with the alt dump, now we're back down to square zero. We literally gained nothing.
Especially since these aren't like ults that can counterbalance each other. Maybe the Rage of Royal Flush can go ahead and make sure to hold you down if you do have a high damage Phoenix ult. But instead, you did not have that. You just ult dump for no reason. Good job holding down the fort from VMH, but a great response by Clear Lake, clearing the tables. I love the switch to Silver Fox. As I talked about, Silver Fox can do a great job of just providing that healing that you need in order to make strong pushes. That's exactly what happened. And you just said GG. It looks like we're already seeing a clear right here from Clear Lake.
Yep, GG. Good game. I mean, honestly, as soon as that retake came in from Clear Lake, you got to keep in mind they do have Groot.
Yeah.
And if they are able to push the team back past the second checkpoint, you literally just put the wall up. That's all you got to do. You put the wall up, and then it's GG. As soon as I seen them drop back past the chokehold, GG. I'm sorry. I said it. I called it. I mean, I'm sure there was like everyone else in the crowd did too. GG.
GG.
Shake hands, dap it up, and go next.
But not GG when it comes to this series, right? We're going 1-for-1 when it comes to either of these teams. Of course, we're going to have a replay coming up soon, but a great job by both of these crews to make sure that they kept competitive. Obviously, we knew that Escort was going to bring a different type